Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setup for today. Yesterday was absolute chaos on the DAX, and you can see that in all these tails. And the question on my mind right now is this a wedge, or are we just forming a typical DAX channel? So I think for now I'm going to adjust that to a channel, so we'll just leave it at that. So what we're ultimately looking for is a breakout above the high of the week before we even start looking at any long setups. We do have a tweezer bottom forming here. We've got an an engulfing bar, we've got a pin bar, and then sort of an engulfing bar here. So typically when you see this kind of structure in a range, where you see on the one side of the range you've got a lot of, in this case, bullish price action, your break is normally to the upside. And you can also see we're starting to form sort of double bottom there, and you could argue that's another double bottom there. But if you look at it very carefully, shoulder, head, shoulder, you probably see that a little bit clearer on the 3 hour. There it is there. So you can see there's your shoulder, you've got a double head, and now you're busy with a double shoulder, right shoulder at the moment. So all it really is a range. So it's a range inside a channel. So yesterday, as I said yesterday, was just chaotic, and you can see there in amongst the moving averages, oscillators kind of nowhere at the moment, not giving us any indication. We could cross over here and then for another leg up, but we need to break through 1300 or 13032. That's kind of what's holding us up at the moment. So the quicker we break through that, the quicker we can get going. So moving down to the levels that we want to be trading today, and you'll see what I mean by yesterday. Remember what I say, when we're above and below the moving averages, you don't really want to be trading that. So the opportunity here was to buy in this area. You would have looked for some logical support, and you had a red bar there, not really a pin bar or anything. That's not really good structure. So you may have wanted to trigger above here. And you can see what happened here with this bar here. People probably still had their entries here, and it ran up to trigger it and then move it further and then trigger the stops below it. That's the way it goes when it's this volatile. But anyway, above and below the moving averages, nothing really at play here. Flat in amongst the moving averages. Well, when the moving averages are flat, also nothing really brewing here. If we look at the 15-minute, you can see pretty much a decent trend up that we were looking at. So we were looking to buy yesterday off structure, didn't really get it. And the reason why, and here's an important lesson here, why you look at the 15-minute for your entries, because that was the entry on the hour. Okay, and you see you got this red bar. It's not really a decent entry. So you didn't really get any structure, even if you tried to take this one. So you would have taken it on the break with a stop here. It would not have got triggered. And then as soon as it broke down below here, you take that trade off, because you've now broken below that level. So that level's not in play anymore. So you'd be looking for the next level. And next level was down here. We hammered through that. So you'd be looking for the next level. And next level is down here. There was a valid entry there. Entry, stop, but really volatile. And then sort of pull back on you. So all I'm getting at is, be very critical about your levels, and stick to them. If price action doesn't look like it should on that level, get away. Don't even bother with it. Stay away from it. And that way, you're more often than not going to make profit rather than lose money. Anyway, it's just a little bit of insight from what I've learned over the years. Now for today. So yesterday's chaos. So let's just ignore this chaos that we had yesterday. Still have this as my ultimate level. So that's 13,032. That would also break the channel. So any breakout and retest there is going to validate longs, sort of on a longer term. So until that happens, we need to look for opportunities today. And I don't really see anything. This level here is still in play. This 12,773. And just want to double check where I got that from. Okay, so it's kind of flaky as well, because look at, you can see there, all this period here, then all of this, and then we basically just ignored it. We could argue that we got to it there as well. So that's the one area, and I think the other area is going to be there. And that's probably a better bet for me, or makes more sense, should I rather say. Yeah, and there's a gap here. So, and there's a retest of the moving average. So this is kind of the area that I'd be paying attention to, and it could go a little bit lower than that. Oh, this is the zone. So 12,858 and 12,836. I'm looking for price to pull back into this area, close this gap, and then move back up to come and test the top of the channel. Now, remember, we are seeing a series of higher lows. It's laborious and it's difficult at the moment, but that's definitely what we are seeing. I don't want to be jumping in long with oscillators like this on the 15-minute, especially on the 15-minute. So what I'd be looking for is a pullback onto structure and then an opportunity to buy into this. There's one other thing that you need to put in, and that is this trend line. Ignore these trend lines here by drawing lines this way. Your first two fractals, these are the first two. That's the one you need to pay attention to. So look at where all of it comes together. So that's definitely the zone that I'd be looking at. Stop area, there's two areas. So the one is below 12,813 and the other one is below 12,786. So what I'm anticipating is a pretty volatile day. So that's 75 points, which is for me with my broker, that is fine. Anything within 100 points for me, or 160 points basically, is a decent stop. Its risk is not that high for the gains that you could potentially make. So that's kind of my view on the DAX today. It's been wild, specifically yesterday, and European fell, and the ECB announced there was no interest rate hike, and then we climbed, and then there was chaos in the US, and so yeah, it was pretty much all over the place. So for me today, pay attention to the zone and then look to see if we can get some opportunities there. I just want to check the weekly before we close off. So we did get a pretty much nothing bar last week, but now we've got a bit of a green engulfing bar to go with this tweezer bottom. Obviously on the weekly, what that starts to set up is a double bottom. So oscillators all over the place, nothing really to write home about at the moment, but if we do get a engulfing pattern here, that is another sort of opportunity to pay attention to, because we could get another long, when I say long, move back up into this zone here, which is a good 8% move in the market, or 1,000 points for me. So that's kind of looking at what's going on the weekly. It does look pretty interesting, to say the least. Anyway, that's kind of my view today. Hope it helps somewhat, and just bear in mind, if it is confusing, stay away from it, because you're going to have to look very hard for your opportunities, I think, and more than likely drop down to the 5 and 6 minute if you've got time for that, to pay attention to your entries and exits. Okay, anyway, that's kind of my view today. Hope it helps, and we will catch up you bright and breezy on Monday morning. Enjoy the weekend. Cheers for now.